In recent months, there has been growing sentiment in the US and EU that big tech companies should be held accountable for a fair share of the costs associated with the development and maintenance of broadband infrastructure, due to their benefit and use of such networks. The European Commission opened an exploratory commission early in 2023 to further investigate and propose charges to these tech giants, while the Federal Communications Commission commissioner wrote an article in 2021 suggesting big tech companies have been getting away without having to pay large amounts of money into this sector. However, Meta, a company that develops and invests in internet infrastructure and content applications, has spoken out about what it believes to be false premises for charging tech companies fees for the internet infrastructure. The company has written a blog stating it and other content application providers have invested over $880 billion into internet infrastructure in the last decade, and that Meta alone has invested $100 billion into this field, a large percentage of which has been made in Europe. Meta argues that their contributions to investments in the internet infrastructure helps drive demand for the internet services, and thus should not be held accountable for the larger costs associated with the development and upkeep of broadband infrastructure. Additionally, they point out that tech giants themselves have their own expenses to pay to internet service providers and content delivery networks, meaning there is no need for them to be held accountable for government-funded broadband. This statement raises questions of responsibility when it comes to the construction and development of broadband, with some believing that the burden should be split between big tech companies, their users and their benefactors, and governments themselves. Government-funded access is especially important in countries and regions with limited access to the internet due to limited infrastructure, meaning that without assistance from larger companies, as well as from governments, many individuals are still yet to reap the benefits of high-speed broadband, and all that comes with it. In conclusion, there is clearly an argument to be made for both sides, with a fair approach involving collaboration between the government, big tech companies and the everyday users who are using the internet for their own benefit. There can be no doubt that having access to the internet is an invaluable asset, especially considering all that can be accomplished through it, from studying, to staying connected with friends and family, to furthering businesses and more. Ultimately, it is up to the governing bodies to make a decision that is equal and fair to both sides, and to ensure that access to broadband is given to those who need it the most.